This week, I think Alan's just been posting some haunted locations, which is great because that's a new section of the site that we've started. Rob, and we will talk to him in a little bit, did an awesome job last week with some thought-provoking articles, and I hope you guys learned a lot from that. That information, and Rob will correct me here in just a little bit, but I do believe if you missed it last week, it is posted on the website underneath the science tab, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to all of that and getting involved in those discussions. We've had some great stuff going on this week, talking about haunted locations. We've had people posting some really good pictures, and you guys, when y'all are posting pictures out there, you have to remember we are going to challenge them. That's just our job. So you guys be ready to have those that are going to agree and disagree with you on there and be respectful about it. So here for the team, we've been a little quiet. We have picked up a long distance client that we're helping out right now and trying to get them in touch with somebody in their area, but we're kind of consulting on that and helping them out. So that's kind of kept us busy the last 2 nights. It's been a little crazy. I have been working on a new portion of NPS that we kind of have had in place, but we haven't really sparked it up as much. We are actually going to stem out officially, I guess you could say, into the international. So NPS has been an international group. We call it National Paranormal Society because it started here stateside, but we have been adding international teams, international members. And so now we are going to branch out and we are actually going to cover a lot more internationally. So if you are watching the show tonight and you're a member of NPS, even if you're not a member of NPS, we invite you to join. But if you are interested in helping us build this portion of NPS, send me a message, send a message to Candy, send a message to Alex, get a hold of one of us, and we'll get in touch with you and get some information to you and see if it's a good fit for you as well. We're hoping to officially launch that here in like the next week, so we're trying to get that all built up right now. So again, if you are internationally watching the show, or if you know someone internationally that would be a great fit, let one of us know, because we're going to start working on that. Other than that, I don't have any other notes of things to go over, so we're going to get started with Rob. As soon as we can get Eric online, I know there were some issues. I'm trying to get him attached, so we'll go ahead and start with Rob, and as soon as we can add him, you guys will see him pop on. So Rob, welcome to the show again. You're coming in a different format this time than last time.
Yeah, hello everyone.
So
Real
Rob,
video.
Yeah, I know. Rob's got like the hoodoo-looking head going on there, like he's just floating in space. It's kind of scary, actually, but it's kind of cool. And it fits Rob. Rob was on, if you guys remember, as the department chair for the science department, or science and technology department. And Rob is also one of our reps. Rob is probably, I'm trying to think, Rob, you're the most senior rep now, aren't you? We've gone through so many changes.
I'm really not sure. I might be.
I'm thinking you are. I'm thinking you are. And then we're going to have one of the newest ones on. So this ought to be interesting tonight. So Rob, kind of tell everybody, oh, and Rob is also, you guys, supports Alex as one of our alternate assistant directors. So if you guys ever see him on the chat room, he's not just doing rep duties or doing department chair duties. He's pulling it all together. So you guys go over there and kind of rattle his cage a little bit, because he's always got something cool to say. At least I learned from him. I think you guys will too. So Rob, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're based out of, how you got started, a little bit about your team, and what we're going to get into, which will be fun with Rob, is his approach to things, because I think it's kind of unique.
Well, I'm in Colorado. I've been in Colorado most of my life, other than a few years in California. As far as getting started in the paranormal, I really got interested in it, I would say, probably around the age of 9 or 10. Not that I recognized specifically that it was something paranormal, but it was interesting. My mother was always very open about the whole thing, so she didn't discourage my interest in it, and we sat around and watched a lot of TV shows about ghosts and UFOs and outer space and all that stuff. So I kind of got into just studying different realities, let's put it that way. And after doing that for many years, I finally decided I wanted to reach out to a team. I found a team here in Loveland, Colorado, Third Eye Paranormal Investigators. I've been with them for about 4 years now. We're a fairly small team. We've had some member changes over the years, but we're down to about 6 people.
That's down?
Sorry?
down to 6 people? How many did y'all
Down
have?
to 6 people. It was a little higher previously, probably as many as about 12.
Wow. Wow.
We don't do a ton of investigations. We're pretty selective about what we investigate. We try to stay away from the ones that are simply out of the realm that we want to deal with, or ones that we think are just looking for attention.
So do you guys ever go out and do, we kind of, when we get a little slow, we'll go out to some more commercial type locations that a lot of people like to visit. Do you guys ever go out and do that kind of thing just to kind of try out like some new theories or some new technology to kind of, I guess, keep the blood going?
We've done a little bit of that. We've done a couple of the ghost tours. We paid to stay at a supposedly haunted bed and breakfast not too long ago. That was an interesting experience, although we don't necessarily think we caught anything.
So you said it was an experience, so did you experience anything while you were there?
I don't think we experienced anything that we could call paranormal. It was a very nice location, a lot of history around it, and a very isolated town. It was just a very interesting, I can't call it a paranormal experience. It was just an interesting experience.
I love it. I love it. So kind of tell everybody, last week you did, and I loved it, the WTF conversation, which I thought was awesome. Kind of tell everybody a little bit about what you shared with us last week. I think it was the week before, or 2 weeks before that, somebody had shared some stuff about the EMF meters and that type of thing. So it kind of was a good segue into your week, but kind of tell everybody, what you covered last week. I think you did a great job at it, honestly. It was very informative. And I think if everybody learns something from everything out there, we're doing what we're supposed to do. So kind of tell everybody what you covered.
Well, really, my whole intention was really to show that science doesn't have to be that serious. It doesn't have to be about proof. It doesn't have to be about perfect information or data. It really just has to be about recording it and comparing the results the next time you have some sort of experience. We don't have to get into saying if you can't repeat it, it can't be real. We don't have to get into show me the proof or I'm not going to look at it. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't do anything for the community to just be constantly fighting over something that nobody has the answer for.
Right. And do you think that, and we've been working on some other stuff, but do you think, if you're repeatedly going out and whether it's, you're going to the same location because you're trying to verify some information, or you're going to a client's home and maybe you're working on 4 or 5 cases, do you think that if you're getting the same type of response to, I don't know, whether it's a piece of technology or some type of, thought process, do you think if it's happening every time that's something that we should really be notating and taking a look at?
It's certainly worth looking at. It's not any kind of signature that says, hey, this might be paranormal. It just says, hey, there's something repeatable here, something we need to understand. It very well may be the technology itself. It may not be anything we're trying to find. It may just be how we're trying to measure it.
Well, and do you think, we joke about, Yeti loves them, the K2 meters and what great doorstops they are, but do you think at some point we kind of overuse the same piece of technology sometimes, that maybe we need to start, we like to go out and do old school method stuff. I know people were laughing at me on the thread, what was it, yesterday or the day before, because I threw out using a trash bag with potato chips. And everybody's
right.
Like, don't use the potato chips. But, do you think sometimes we get so involved with, hey, it shows lights and it makes sounds, that we're tied up in that. We're not really so much tied up in, okay, like you said, was that real? Can I prove it?
Yeah, I think there is a real attraction to the toys, the blinking lights and the different colors of the images we get out of our cameras. But we really don't have anything that tells us we're gathering anything with this equipment. We're definitely seeing some evidence, but we can't point to what that evidence is other than what science tells us it is. We can't really say it's paranormal because we don't know what to measure in paranormal.
Yeah, we don't know what. There's not a gadget or a camera or a device out there that, switches on and lights up and says this is paranormal.
Right. Even if we measure the same thing at every case, and we measure the same thing with the exact same question or the exact same experiment, we can't say it's not something that was already in the environment that's not paranormal. We have these fields everywhere. They're constantly around us, and we're just adding more and more to them. The more we advance our technology, we're just putting more and more signals out there.
Yep. Well, and it also goes back to just the basics, writing down the humidity in the air, writing down the temperature, writing down some of those basics. And a lot of times when we're looking at some of these pictures people are posting, they're not thinking about that. But there is places online where you can go back and look at the date and look at the location and pull some of that information. You guys kind of want to be looking at that when you're going out and investigating, because, there were some great pictures that were posted this week on the NPS page, and some of them did look like they were caused by moisture or humidity. So that's the other thing that we've got to focus on and we've got to look at as well, is the environment can't contaminate our things. As much as we want to believe that we've had this experience, that this orb was paranormal, it's not. And we've got to start going from what's common sense and what we can debunk and what we can explain and knocking it out. I don't think we're doing a great job at that. I think we're getting better, but I don't think we're doing a great job at that.
No, we're not, and you really need the whole story. Even if you have the weather, you need to understand what sort of structure you're in. I mean, a lot of structures, a lot of businesses, especially if they have certain type of even artwork, for example, it's going to be a humidity-controlled environment. It's going to be different than what you have outside. And some places, for let's just say a guitar shop, for example, they want a little bit specifically controlled humidity as well. So anybody that collects stuff that might have some sort of attachment to it, they might also have a controlled environment to keep their artifacts in good shape. So these are things that we really have to pay attention to. We can't just automatically move to the weather or automatically move to an ancient artifact. We've got to look at the whole story.
Yeah, you got to look at the whole picture. So we finally got Eric on board. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So Eric,
restart my computer.
So you're already having technology issues. We were just talking about technology.
Oh, believe me, if I was allowed to cuss, I'd have a lot to say right now. This isn't the first time this crap has happened, and it makes me very, very angry every time.
That's funny. Y'all, Eric is one of our newest reps. He's also one of our newest department chairs. Eric has taken over. Eric's just taken over. I'm just going to leave it at that. Candy and I laugh about it. But Eric has come on and kicked so much ass since he's been on. You're wearing me out, dude. Anyway, he has taken over aliens and UFOs. And if you guys were watching the website and watching the material on that tab, it went from probably this to this. So he has been just crazy active. You give him something to do, and he does it and comes back and asks for more. The kid loves to be beat up, so we're going to start stacking up soon. So you've been a great addition to the team. So, we were just talking with Rob about going out and investigating and looking at things and thinking, if you're at different locations and you're collecting the same type of information, what should we really be logging and doing and stuff. So that's kind of where you came in at. But let's go back for a little bit here. Rob introduced himself, and Rob's been on the show before in his department chair position, so now we're kind of coming in as a rep. So kind of tell everybody, you weren't on board with us when we did do the department chair. So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about you, where you're from, a little bit about your team, and kind of tell us how you got started in the paranormal, and we know what draws you to it because you like everything.
Well, first of all, my name's Eric Jobs, although that's probably been said multiple times. I'm 22 years old, going to be 23 in a few months. I live currently in Fredericksburg, Virginia, but I have spent most of my life in St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri. What drew me to the paranormal was, ironically, it happened here. I was waiting for the bus for middle school, and in my front yard, we have a circle, like horseshoe driveway, and by our shed was this pine tree. And one day in December, I noticed something dark blue bolt behind it. I'm like, okay, it was just a trash bag or something. So I go look, and there's no trash bag. There's nothing back there that could have been dark blue at all. There wasn't even a fence back there. And, I'm like, what could have that been? And then later that day, in history class, we go over the Civil War, and I noticed that the exact same thing in my textbook is what I saw bolt behind my tree. And that kind of stirred it up some. I didn't really get fully into the paranormal as far as investigation until after my senior year of high school and after my less than stellar first semester of college. I joined up with a local group called FAPI and investigated with them for about 4 years. And with them, we did a community event and the Cabot Family Fair or something like that. I did a lecture at a home and country convention, and then mostly just did residential. The only real la-di-da investigation we've done was we went on one of those group haunted tours of the Trans-Allegheny Asylum.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun. A little gimmicky, and of course, it kind of got ruined when you had to smell people who like to do naughty things up on all 4 of the floors. That was a nice smell. But something happened just recently, and I made the decision to leave FAPI, and I am now a part of POPS, or Post Oak Paranormal Society, and honestly, I've had so much fun just in the few months I've been a part of the group. Already have done 2 investigations, one of the Weems Botts Museum in Dumfries, Virginia, and just recently we went to the Fredericksburg Battlefield Cemetery and got to talk to the night watchman, who apparently could see us, but we couldn't see him, so that was a nice experience. As far as what's really got when I first started doing this, I liked doing the investigation part, but after I joined the National Paranormal Society, the research aspect took off. Finally, those long hours that I spent hunched over my computer in the middle of the night paid off, and I was useful. Woo!
Oh my God, you're like the freaking research puppy. Here's a little tidbit, go find it. And I swear to God, 5 minutes later, bing! I'm like, shit. What was that, that commercial? Was it for Bing, or was it for one of those search engines, and they were like, Bing. Just type it in, and it goes and gets it. I'm like,
yeah.
Eric.com, can you find out? Hit enter, and I'm impressed.
Well, it's kind of funny because I've only been technically a member of the National Paranormal Society for a month, and then within the span of a week, I go from being a plebe to a rep to a department chair.
Yeah,
no pressure.
You see how quiet Rob's being? That's because Rob has been overwhelmed with all this stuff. You just wait. You're going to get to be like,
sorry.
Right now, we're just going to dump the stuff on you and let you run.
But actually, gets a little funnier. While I am kind of well versed in the majority of the areas that constitute the term paranormal, uh, aliens and UFO is surprisingly not one that I was really active in keeping up with the research, just because it's, you kind of go he, someone's been some redneck in Alabama says my cousin got taken by ET. You tend to take it less seriously when that stuff becomes popular. But now I've kind of dived headlong and watched YouTube videos, looked up links, etc., etc.
You've learned a lot in just the short amount of time since you've taken over the department, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's also because I get like maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night.
I know.
Have no social life.
And Eric's like, guess what I found? And I'm like, what? What did you find out? I found it, and I'm like, you make me look bad. I'm getting online and start doing my research, and he's like, so I don't know what you're using and you're searching, or maybe your computer likes you better than mine does. I don't know. But damn, I think, Rob, we're going to have to start pitching some stuff his way when we start looking for stuff. Now, when are you on? When are you up for your week now, Eric?
My week, I am doing aliens and UFOs, and I'm starting off kind of like with like not alien abductions. That's day 3, I think. Day 1 is ancient astronauts and aliens and stuff like that, which I was able to find a surprising amount of information, despite the fact that the dude that looks like he got shocked makes everything goofy on that show.
Do you hear this, Rob? We're going to have to pick on him during this week. You know that, right?
Yeah, there's a video that completely debunks that show, so I'll have to dig that up and get it to you, Eric.
Thank you, because, well, my friends already use him as a meme in our little group chat, so I don't take that dude seriously. I take that dude as seriously as I take James Bobo Stewart from Finding Bigfoot. Let's get squatchy, guys.
No gimmicky. So, Eric, being the newbie here, I was just talking about, this is kind of the perfect match, because I think Rob has seniority here over everybody, short of maybe Candy. And I wasn't, I was like member number 17 in NPS, but I wasn't as active because in the early days it wasn't as good as it is now. And I'm going to, kind of leave it at that, because I think all of us have made it even better this year. But it's interesting to see the perspective from Rob being the one that's been around forever and how he has seen so many changes, and I'm sure there's been a ton, to you coming in and you actually seeing it where it's gotten to now. And it's funny to think about, I kind of came in the middle of everything as a rep, getting involved in stuff. So it's interesting to have both of you guys on at the same time to kind of get a feel and input from both of you guys on how it's running. So kind of leading into my next question here, you guys have heard me ask the other reps on this show, as we've been doing this for, 2 weeks now. It's our 3rd week now. What do you guys think has been, and I'm interested to see what Rob's going to say, what do you guys think has been probably the most beneficial thing for NPS? And Rob, I want to start with you, since you've been around, as long as I have with it, but I think you were probably a little bit more involved with it than I was. I'm curious to see what you think has been beneficial of NPS. And then I want to hear from Eric's side, only being on a month, what he thinks it is too.
Well, I think the best thing has probably been just probably locking down the rules, trying to keep the BS off the board, limiting advertisements, although some people really disagree with limiting the advertisements. I think it really helps to keep the board centered, even though it would be nice if we could actually get a lot more conversation about things that really have some science behind them and not just, oh, look what I see.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the community. We'll have to deal with it.
Well, and you've done a pretty good job. I think you've kind of taken over. We tease each other behind the scenes about NPS ad not seeing the NPS filer, but I think you've done a great job taking over Tuesday and making sure that we're using the events tab a little bit more. And I think we've actually seen that grow. I've enjoyed seeing other people post there because it lets me go to one place and see what's going on. And I think a lot of that was your drive and you're getting everybody there. So, hats off to you for making that work. It's hard to do on ad day because everybody wants to pitch their show, mine involved. But I think if you put something on the calendar, it comes up and it reminds people later. And it's not just, you have to remember to go back to the NPS page and scroll through all the discussions to see what was posted on Tuesday. You go to the events tab. So I think that's been awesome. So Eric, from your standpoint, you've been on for a month. You haven't you haven't felt the struggles we had with the ads for so long there. What do you think's been beneficial with NPS?
From what I've seen, and it's truly been kind of awe-inspiring seeing it. During the day, I'm here. So I'm always on Facebook, and I get a little notification. I've seen maybe on one day 67 plus or minus people asked to join NPS, and before I even have a chance to freaking click my notification button and go there, everyone's taken care of. Like, I've seen people post stuff in the on the page, and I've seen members want to join, and before I even have a chance to go into the reps page and say something, it's already been taken care of. It's not quite a well-oiled machine yet. I mean, there's still some hiccups, but
you know who it is, right? You know who's catching all that. See, this is when you got to pay attention. So, if you're going to click and add people, that's going to be Ashley or Rob. They're the ones that are clicking and adding people like this. So you can always tell who's covered that. And the ones that are taking care of, do what?
I just added 2.
Yeah, that's true. Alan is notorious for scrubbing the page. I swear, he and I both, there's times that I'm on, and I see it, and Alan sees it, and Alan will post it before me. I'm like, damn it, that boy scrubs that page like nobody's business. So you got to learn to kind of be fast, and you got to kind of see, what everybody's schedule is. It's usually towards the end of the day and throughout the night, which I'm kind of hoping bringing the international reps on. That's going to kind of help us a little bit. But it's kind of late at night into wee early in the morning before Rob gets up, and while Alan's still at work. It's just that hole in between. So you'll figure it out when to kind of snap in there and take care of it. Now, it used to be Selena was the one you had to watch because she was always on it. But she's kind of gotten into some meatier stuff with the group. So I think it's funny. I think it's awesome, though, that we've got that many people requesting to get on. And it seems like no sooner than they hit the request to join, they're being approved and they're on and they're live with us and kind of getting some stuff going. So I think that's awesome.
Well, it's just, to me, I've noticed that if someone sees something, it doesn't even have to be me. If someone sees something that even looks like, oh, nice try, Mr. Jones, but this is fake. Like, it's easy to tell this is fake. It's gone. Like, before even have a chance to say anything to the person, even send a private message to said person, gone.
Uh-huh.
Under the rug. Goodbye.
Well, we've got Candy's in the chat room. She's calling us a little psychotic. Yeah, sometimes we are a little OCD. Come on. I think it's how much it has grown and expanded. Because it used to be there was so much drama in the beginning, and I was kind of like, I want no part of this. And then as it started getting cleaned up and things started getting better organized, it started becoming more useful. I think if you were to look at NPS at this point last year versus today, it is like night and day. You have people like today. We had the pictures that were being posted this week of the clouds. And you have people going in and they're actually being respectful and making their comments. Hey, it's matrixing. Hey, you're just seeing it because your mind wants to see it. Yeah, we've had some discussions about that during photography week, but I think we have given people enough information, enough ammunition that they can start looking at pictures now and think to themselves, okay, the first thing I want to know is what kind of camera was used. The second thing I want to know is, do you have a before and after picture? Do you have something we can compare it to? And we're starting to find that people, when you ask them, hey, can I see the before and after picture or a comparison picture, they're posting it. Because you know what? They're paying attention and they're learning. So it's little things like that that little by little have changed. They haven't been huge changes, but they've been baby step changes, and I think that's been awesome. You've got people that are actually challenging us now, and we want to start some kind of discussion every day, and that's why we've been doing the weekly topics. But you've got people now that are posting some awesome discussion pieces, and so we've got our discussions that we're leading going on, and you've got the members joining that too. That didn't happen a year or two ago, did it, Rob?
I missed that. I was looking at the chat room.
I was just saying, we didn't have people posting the meaty stuff a year or two ago.
No, we didn't. And actually, the discussion on other boards has changed a little bit. For a while there, I think NPS was almost a little bit of a joke on other boards, but the chatter's really gone down, and people are joining.
Well, and it's funny because you see everybody. I mean, it's like Eric just said, you see everybody throughout the day wanting to join. And it's funny because we joke that the more heated arguments, discussions get on the page, the more people start joining. So it's kind of like it's an attraction in some sense. And then you get the people just kind of talking. And we joke because Ashley had posted the picture of the flag. And yes, people, it was a flag. It wasn't a skeleton hand. And did you see how many comments we had on that thread versus what the discussion piece was about that day? It just blows me away. Yeah, we still have people focusing on the wrong things. And we still have people arguing about things, even if you show them. That's why I posted the picture of the flags that day, was so that you can visually set your eyes on it so you could see the stars and the flagpole. This is the kind of stuff that we're really looking at, kind of pushing forward and pulling people to look at is, use a little bit of common sense when you're looking at stuff there. And yes, Candy's saying we are raising the bar. Yeah, we are definitely raising the bar. Yeah, exactly, Eric. So, we've been adding... Exactly. We've been adding haunted locations now, so you guys can see the haunted locations tab on the website. And we're trying to get them from all around the world. So if you guys know some locations that aren't listed, reach out and let us know, because all of us are working on that and trying to get that section built. We want to be able to have...
You really want to ask me that?
Eric's got most of them down. Come on.
Well, at least the really cool ones.
I've got quite a few for Colorado. I just haven't put them out there.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a fantastic list when it's all said and done. And you guys, this information is it's contact information. So if you want to go out there and contact these locations to go and investigate there, that's what this is going to be used for. It's very much like, I live in Colorado and I want to find a team in Colorado. It's the same type of principle. So if you're looking for anything more than that, we're not going to have it there because we don't want to taint people's investigations going in. But that is something we're working on. And then we're also working on the education tab, which is my baby, and Eric's been helping me with that. So we're hoping to kind of get that up and running. I'm hoping I get some time this weekend to focus on it. So you guys are going to start really seeing the NPS website, and thank you, Ken, for keeping control of that. It's going to really start getting beefed up, and we're actually going to start using it a little bit more. So you're going to have the Facebook page to interact, and you're going to have the website to go back and find your information and your details. So anytime you see a rep posting on the board during their week, their discussion week that we've been talking about, if you missed it, if you're impatient like me and you can't scroll down the page to find it, it's going to be posted underneath that department on the website, so you can always find it there. And yeah, Candy makes a good point. People become emotionally invested in their captures. It's difficult for them to rationalize the science of the capture from the emotion. And it is. People want to document an experience they had, but they're two separate things. So what do you guys see, we're moving forward. We're working on some special projects in the background that you guys are aware of. You guys aren't aware of it, but we are. What do you kind of see, what kind of direction do you see us going in probably by the end of the year? Do you think we're going to really start kind of fine-tuning some things, or what do you think is going to happen?
Go for it, Eric.
Well, seeing as, with the special project that they're not aware of. Hee hee hee, I know something you don't. I can kind of see that maybe not in the next couple months, but maybe closer to the start of 2015, maybe we become more of a recognized organization for not necessarily just paranormal investigating, but for paranormal research.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we want to go. I think we want to make sure that we're recognized as pretty much the one stop. People can come here. I mean, that's why we welcome as many people as we do. If you get banned and kicked out, then you know what? That's your own problem for not being able to play well in the same box with other people and be respectful. But I think we are going to be the place to come when you've got a question about something, whether it's coming to the board and connecting with somebody that has some information about it, or whether it's going to the website and finding that information. I think I want us to be there. I want us to be there so bad, but it's going to take a lot of work, and we're all like wearing ourselves out. But I think it's going to get there. And I think where NPS started off as kind of the joke in the community because it was just another group, I think it's really going to rise up to be the cream of the crop. And I think a lot of that has to go to you guys as being the reps and really being dedicated to it and giving it your all. You know, we don't get paid for this, but we're also passionate about it. It's what makes it work, and it's what makes us a good team. But I think even more than that, I think it's the members that are coming on that are learning to be respectful of others and are learning to be able to have constructive debates that they're learning from each other. And I think that right there, that piece of integrity that we brag about is what's going to make NPS just kind of skyrocket.
Well, and I just want to say this. When I was first starting to look for groups to join, all these groups call themselves paranormal societies, but if you look at their pages, they usually only deal with ghosts. And while, you know, that's not to say you can't do that, because I'm not going to tell them that they can't do that. I'm just saying that upon joining this, I can easily say this is probably one, if not the only nationwide and close to being international group that encompasses all of what is under the umbrella term for paranormal. Because I've seen people, now granted, I have yet to see people talk much about cryptozoology, but I've seen a lot about, you know, the occult. I've seen a lot about ghosts, and I've seen a lot about aliens, which I feel like, again, UFOs, aliens, and cryptozoology, I feel like, as far as paranormal goes, really are kind of like the redheaded stepchildren. Because if you think about it, someone goes on the news and says, I saw Bigfoot. What's the first reaction? They're going to get laughed at. Same thing with aliens and UFOs. Whereas if it's a ghost, people get a little interested and will crack jokes about it. But it's not as bad as if you're a cryptozoologist or a ufologist.
Well, we used to have a lot going on with cryptozoology, and we heard a lot about Bigfoot and that type of thing. And then our previous cryptozoology chair stepped down, and Max has been trying to fill those shoes. But I think Max is more focused. He takes care of cryptozoology and demonology. So he's been trying to kind of get a grasp on both of them. So I think, Eric, if you want to kind of help.
Already, I gave him links last night.
So that would be awesome, and we can start getting that along. And maybe that's something that we need to kind of focus on. When we're doing our discussion topics, we need to probably touch on cryptozoology. And while that's Max's department, it doesn't mean that the rest of us can't pick it up and run with it either. So that's probably something that, you know, Candy, I know you're listening, that we need to probably put on the list and make sure, you know, if that's something that you, Eric, as being a newbie to NPS, only being with us a month, have seen, then maybe that's something that we definitely need to address.
Well, I think another option that might help is to kind of two-prong it, because personally, okay, as it said in my bio, I have autism, and I learned the best in school when I had stuff coming at me in two different styles. I had to read and I had to watch. So I feel like if we can figure out some way that maybe the department chairs for a department or someone could offer to volunteer and help a department chair and kind of make like a bare basics, not really, not calling people names, but a for dummies guide essentially to the basics of this given section, that might help as well as encourage more discussion about it.
Well, and I think it goes back to, there's 15 of us reps now, Candy, 16 of us, something like that, not including all the international. But, it kind of goes back to us to making sure that we're pulling that in as well, because if we're not grabbing everybody that's paranormal and making sure that we've got a good mix, are we really doing our job? We see a lot of people talking about paranormal, and we're talking about ghosts and spirits with stuff. And we'll see every once in a while slivers of alien and UFO. But you're right, we haven't seen a lot of crypto in a long time. And it used to be that everybody was posting those pictures of that washed up whale or, kind of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We were touching on crypto, but we weren't really touching on crypto. So I know it was something that I started getting interested in when we were talking about Bigfoot. I know the founder of NPS, Eric, when he was right before he decided to step down, I believe it was a month or two, Candy, correct me if I'm wrong, he was going out and starting Bigfoot hunting. We had just wrapped up everything with Alone and doing all of the ghost hunting and paranormal investigating there, and he was starting to look more at crypto stuff. And once he stepped down, I think we kind of lost touch with bringing in crypto. So it is something that we do need to probably touch, and all of us can look at that.
Well, if since you are looking at the thing and are able to talk to Candy, she'll be able to respond to this. I know the current leader of the Virginia Bigfoot Research Organization. If you would like, I could ask him and see if he would be willing to join the National Paranormal Society and help us out with some of the information about that, because I am friends with him on Facebook, and he just recently posted pictures of, it's outdated, he wants to kind of fix it up, but he hand-built himself from parts he got from Radio Shack and other places, a 360 camera rig to use for Bigfoot hunts.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, and you know what? That counts towards your 3 for the month. Remember we talked about that?
Oh, I'm well over 3. I brought so many people in, I lost count.
Eric's like, yeah, that 10,000 over there we just added?
I don't think it's 10,000. I hope that wasn't 10,000. That's
He's like, I'm done. But yeah, Katie makes a point. We will run around in the dark for ghosts, but people really question the existence of Bigfoot. Yeah, I think because we're scared that Bigfoot's going to come out and get us. I think ghosts, nothing's going to get us.
Well, from what I understand of all the research I've done into the area and the documentaries and stuff, it's not... I think people are a little misguided. We're all assuming that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, skunk ape, whatever you want to call it, is just another animal. What if it is closer to human in intelligence than we originally think? Because, I mean, just recently, a viral video went out on YouTube of a gorilla walking on its hind legs in a zoo. So it's highly possible that the reason why no one's found any bodies or anything of Sasquatches is because they're intelligent enough. We need to mourn for our dead. We need to take our dead and make sure that no one disturbs the body. A lot like what we do to prevent people from disturbing our loved ones, we bury them. It's highly likely that in the dense wilderness that is most of the western half of the United States, that their bodies are there. They're just so hidden that, it'll take years, if at all.
Yeah, we don't know much about them to have studied them enough to know what their habits are.
Just recently, I think in 2003 or so, someone was finally able to upload a theoretical migration map for the Sasquatch. And even then, that's only a theory, because they're not like birds. You can't just wait, catch one, tag it, and let it go. There's so little physical evidence I mean, so far the only physical evidence I have heard of is the footprints, the potential calls, and that one group in, I guess, Oklahoma or so that got a little bit of fur that belongs to an ape-like creature but is otherwise unknown.
Oh, wow.
Beyond that, I have not heard of anyone catching much evidence. And again, with all the hoaxes that you see in the news, it gets hard to separate fact from fiction, and it kind of, makes it harder for the rest of us to discover the fact from the fiction.
Well, and it doesn't help when you've got, like, Discovery Channel when they did the special on mermaids, and it was all bogus. So
Yeah.
it doesn't help when we have that. Ken made a very good point in the chat room. He said they discover new life in the oceans all the time. And we do. I mean, there are still depths and reaches of the ocean that we haven't gone to yet where there are all sorts of things going on. Same things here. I mean, yeah, we've settled pretty well on land, but there are still some areas we have not been able to reach yet and been able to go to. So, we've got everything from, cryptozoology, including things in the water, things in the land, Loch Ness Monster. How do we know that that's not something as well? It's all paranormal, guys. If it can't be explained, it's not normal, it's paranormal. So it is all something that we can also talk about on the page. So I think with all of the movies and with all the ghost hunting shows, we've really seen a rise in the ghost hunting. I think Ken made a good point that now we've got some stuff coming out for cryptozoology. I know I was watching a new show the other night that kind of got me pulled into crypto stuff. And Deegan was like, "What are you watching? That's not ghost hunting." Well, no, but it's still paranormal. So, I mean, there's still a lot out there for us to research and talk about it. And like Ken said, it's all the French sciences.
Well, and see, that's another thing. What a lot of people who are into science probably don't realize is, if you look, we've done more exploration of outer space than we have land and ocean.
Because we got it covered.
Like, the only maps we have of the Pacific Northwest are because of how dense it is and how hard it is to navigate through there, are topographical maps. Like, no one has legitimately gone through the Pacific Northwest on foot, mapping it out. So we have no idea if there's, a little hidden area where the Bigfoot live. I mean, for all we know, there could be several tribes of Bigfoot all over the place, which, that reminds me, thank you for letting me ramble. It is my belief, from what I've noticed, is because the descriptions of Sasquatch and other ape-like humanoids all over the United States and all over the world, for that matter, are different. I think they're different subspecies. Like, Sasquatch is a species not unlike Homo sapien, and then there's subspecies. So it
could be.
Because, I mean, if you look at the description for a skunk ape, it is beyond different than the description of a Sasquatch that's from, say, Alaska, Canada, or Maine. So, and, it can't just be an environmental factor.
I think you're right. It's the same thing like what we call a cat. And we have a domesticated cat, we have a lion, we have a cougar, we have different types of cats. And I think you're on to something there with that train of thought.
I mean, what do you think, Rob? Do you think that's a valid setup?
I think it probably is valid. I'm a little less of a believer that there's something out there like Bigfoot, but I find the evidence very intriguing. Clearly, we find new species all the time in the
like
ocean,
that
in the rainforest.
coelacanth or whatever it's called.
So there might be something out there. It just seems unlikely that we wouldn't have found some more conclusive evidence by this time.
Well, if you go on the theory of they have, closer to human intelligence, if a human being doesn't want to be found, they can typically make sure that they're never found. Like, there's people who, in West Virginia, are so disconnected from society that, if on the off chance, like, say, they're found to be injured and they're brought into the country or brought into a hospital, they have no idea what any of this is because as far as they're aware, it's still this certain time period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they speak differently than everyone else because they have had little to no human interaction for years, maybe even decades.
It's just their culture.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of creepy when they come out, but
kind of reminds you. We're talking in the chat room about the people of Walmart. Yeah, it kind of reminds you of the people of Walmart, doesn't it? Well, you guys, we got about 5 minutes left, so I want to give you each an opportunity. Rob, tell everybody how they can find you and find your team.
Well, we're on Facebook. If you look at my profile, you'll see you can find a link to our team there. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
And you can always find Rob in the NPS wall, on the NPS page, always.
Yeah, my profile on Facebook should be visible to everyone. Not my entire page is visible, but anybody can PM me.
Same here. My page is on Facebook as well. My group's page is on Facebook as well. Again, the group is Post Oak Paranormal Society. And if you can't find them in the search for them, just send me a friend request and I'll give you the link to them.
And again, you guys can find Eric on the wall too. You can find both these.
I should be clear that there is a Third Eye Paranormal based out of the UK. That is a different group. We're Third Eye Paranormal Investigators.
Okay. And out of Colorado and not on the other side.
Out of Colorado.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys both for coming on board. Eric, welcome aboard. I hope we're doing a great job with kind of mentoring you. If you keep asking for help, I'm going to send you a brick.
By the way, Sherry, do you have any work for me?
I do, actually.
Ooh, yay, jobs.
He's like, keep me busy, keep me busy. All right, well, I will catch up with you.
The cats are getting ready to talk to me. I need work.
Yeah, I know. It's like we got to feed you. It's like having the shredder. He just takes care of business, man. He just takes care of business. I love it. I love it. But, guys, thanks for being on the show. I'll catch you guys on the rep wall here in just a little bit. Next week, we only have Alex on the show. And, Rob, you'll find this funny because Alex didn't get to do his department chair show either. So I think he's going to get a solo show next week. I kept, I was him brief about it. He was going to get it. So guess what? And I think the same thing might happen to Max because Max was late to his show. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. So I'll say good night to you guys, and we'll thank our sponsors, and we're going to call it a night. So thanks both you guys for coming on.
You're most
No
welcome.
problem. Good night, all.
Good night. I want to give a shout out to Paranologies, Jeremy over there. I need to see what that man's doing and getting into trouble here lately. I think he's got some more new stuff going on. He's got a lot of stuff coming out of those creative hands. And then I want to say a huge, huge thank you to Scott Frederick. Guys, I don't know what I would do without some of his awesome pictures to do some of my graphics with. So it makes me happy to have nice graphics and I don't have to start things from scratch or go find somebody else to ask permission to use it. So you guys check him out. And then we also want to give a huge shout out to Blessed Bee. You guys can find them on the internet at blessedbee.cc, not .com, but .cc, and you can find them also on Facebook, and that is Eric and Candy's Baby. Alex and Candy's Baby. So you guys make sure you check them out. I've been kind of helping them a little bit with graphics as well, so you'll kind of see a little connection between NPS and Blessed Bee. So next week, like I said, we're going to have my partner in crime. We both kind of work together to support Candy. Alex is going to be on. Alex is also based out of Texas, so you guys beware. But he is not only the assistant director, but he is the department chair of a department as well as being a rep. So we'll get to talk to him next week. So until then, you guys have a great week. We'll see you on we're going to finish talking about haunted locations this week. And if you guys got something to submit to us, please get it to one of us. Actually, you know what? Get it to Eric. We'll let Eric run with that. So, anyway, I will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good evening.